Barring an unlikely last-minute deal between Congress and the White House, sequestration, the term used for automatic across-the-board federal funding cuts, will begin this Friday. One of the many programs facing abrupt funding cuts is the military and defense industry. Frank Hewett of San Diego's chapter of the National Defense Industrial Association and Larry Blumberg with the San Diego Military Advisory Council join me with details on who will be affected most by these cuts. Thank you both for being here. Frank, a new report suggests that about 1 in 4 jobs in San Diego depend on military or defense funding. Give us a few examples of what type of companies specifically and what kind of jobs that we're looking at.
Sure, in the defense industry, it's across the board. So all the way from the large companies like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, SAIC, to some of the smaller companies, the whole spectrum. So Booz Allen Hamilton. It's a tremendous number of companies that are located here in San Diego, principally because we provide support in the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command here and SPAWAR Systems Center on Point Loma.
And one of them specifically, the shipyard workers. That's a huge, right?
The ship repair industry.
Repair industry, correct.
Yeah, on the waterfront, and they're going to get hit by two things: the continuing resolution and the sequester. And we estimate that if the Navy is forced to cancel their availabilities, their maintenance availabilities here starting in the third and fourth quarter, that as many as 4,000 workers could lose their jobs in the ship repair industry.
And we're going to come back to that double-edged sword
Sure.
of getting those cuts. But I did want to ask you, Larry, first, the strategic part of the military's new Asian Pacific focus. San Diego is a part of that. Does that mean that the military enlisted or military programs, let's say in the Navy, aren't really going to be affected much by the sequestration?
Well, military personnel accounts are all exempt from the sequester. So we won't see, sailors and Marines will get their paychecks and the medical benefits, and all that will stay intact.
Okay, well, I want to let viewers know about this state-by-state list of sequester impacts the White House sent out, and this is by state. California will see $54 million cut from Army base operations. 64,000 civilian defense workers will be forced into furloughs, and Air Force operations will be cut by $15 million. This is specifically for sequestration. In San Diego, Larry, you were talking about what that means to civilian workers here.
Well, there are 25,000 Department of Defense civil servants in San Diego. That's counted in that 64,000. So we'll get hit pretty hard here in the civil service category.
Yeah, I have the George Mason study from last July on the impacts of sequestration, and I have the 10 states listed. California is number 1 in impact, and of course the 25% makes the San Diego region tremendously large. But the DoD cuts, these are job losses by this study, are about 135,000 in the state of California. The non-DoD cuts are 90,000 in the state of California, making us the largest state impacted, with Virginia being number 2.
So these are a lot of people who will lose their job. There won't be funding for them. Let's talk about, Larry, veteran services and benefits. Is there going to be impact from sequestration?
No. The Veterans Administration is exempt. Now, there's some talk that like tuition assistance and things that peripherally affect veterans, but not VA at all.
No direct benefits.
No direct.
We have a large population here, but Frank, this is sort of a double-edged sword or a double hammer to budget cuts here, because Congress had already, or the Department of Defense had already, back in 2011, said that there were going to be budget cuts. Tell us the difference.
Well, the DoD has been in the process of reducing their budgets because of the imposed is not the right word, but they were working to reduce by $487 billion already over 10 years. So the sequestration's on top of that, and the continuing resolution, of course, impacts the contractors, because if we have no authority to be contracted for, we can go to zero and if there's no continuing resolution resolved, and that has to be resolved by the 27th of March. So this is a double-edged sword that can impact us in all kinds of ways that make the entire industry very uncertain.
And very long term. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I want to let people know that they can find more on our continuing coverage of sequestration online at KPBS.org, including the impact on the military and defense industry. Thank you both so much.
Thank you
very
much.
Thank you, Peggy. Happy to be here.